Okay, kids, so it's still the 16th today, and this is just the final bonus wrap up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the three achievements I'm missing, and then I'm going to go through all the files one by one and the figures. So, if any of that's of interest to you, keep watching. If not, I guess thanks for watching as far as you did, and you take care now. Okay, so for every emblem you shot, you unlocked a file. If you got all four emblems in the level, you unlock a figure, and all five chapters, you unlock a figure. So let's go through them. But we'll do it. Well, let's just go left to right. So, Leon collections. Leon S. Kennedy. At 36 years of age, Leon S. Kennedy is the most respected agent working for the US government. Reporting directly to the president himself, the horrors he witnessed as a result of a biohazard outbreak known as the Raccoon City Incident left him with a deep-rooted hatred of bioterrorism and those who would use it. While his demeanour is calm and rational, it should not be mistaken for apathy. He will take the initiative on any mission he's been assigned, often putting himself in danger in order to save the innocent. He takes his mission seriously. I'm going to turn the volume down on this, because this is just going to be music. He will take the initiative on any mission he's been assigned, often putting himself in danger in order to save the innocent. He takes his mission seriously, making decisions cautiously and logically. From time to time, however, his sardonic wit will surface, recalling his time as a good-natured rookie cop with a sense of duty who was able to maintain his sense of humour even in tough times. Second file. Leon and Adam. Leon Kennedy and US President Adam Benford are not only close friends, but champions of similar causes. When President Benford was a high-ranking government official, he handpicked Leon, elevating him to his high-ranking status. The two were both motivated by a righteous desire to root out bioterrorism following the events that transpired in Raccoon City in 1998. Adam had a reputation for being one of the few politicians with integrity, a man of his word, and Agent Kennedy found himself able to trust a man who had never directly faced the evils of bioterrorism. With mutual goals and a mutual respect, they grew close during their 10 years of fighting bioterrorism together. Unfortunately, their friendship is abruptly ended during a biohazard outbreak, one with eerie echoes that mirror the tragedy of Raccoon City, when Agent Kennedy is forced to shoot and kill President Benford. Third file. Field Operations Support. Field Operations Support, FOS, is an organisation operating at the highest level of the US government. Its original mission was to provide support for agents from multiple US intelligence agencies discharging their duties around the world. As the dangers posed by bioterrorism came to take priority for US security, the FOS was evolved to oversee all operations that deal with response to and prevention of bioterrorism. The FOS was originally formed in 2011 by Adam Benford, with Ingrid Hunnigan installed as operations coordinator and Leon Kennedy as its chief field agent. Zombies. In 1998, a biohazard involving the T-virus contaminated the entirety of Raccoon City. Inhabitants infected by the virus succumbed to infection, but their corpses were reanimated by the same virus into shambling, flesh-eating creatures. Reports from the incident indicated that many of the revenants' eyes were glazed over and their skin had either decayed or had been flayed. As these revenants resembled the Walking Dead of horror fiction, they were given the decidedly unscientific name of zombies. The source of the current biohazard event in Toll Oaks remains unknown, but the stages of infection of the victim bear a striking resemblance to those of Raccoon City. For better or for worse, the appellation of zombie has been applied to these victims as well. Ingrid Hunnigan. Ingrid Hunnigan is a 33-year-old mission coordinator for the US Department of Defense's Field Operations Support. In 2004, she was instrumental in helping Agent Kennedy recover the then-president's daughter from a terrorist group. Level-headed and intelligent, she is competent at hacking into most security systems as well as handling the relevant mission intelligence. She is the guiding voice that has successfully delivered Agent Kennedy from many a perilous predicament. Leon and the Raccoon City Incident. In 1998, a biohazard incident involving a man-made virus contaminated the entire town of Raccoon City. The town of 100,000 became ground zero for the world's single worst biohazard outbreak in the 20th century. The clinical naming of the event as the Raccoon City incident does nothing to express the tragedy and horror that occurred in that idyllic American town. During the incident, a rookie police officer named Leon Kennedy was caught up in the nightmare. He was attacked by human-infected, aka zombies, and Umbrella-engineered bioorganic weapons. Against all odds, he and a few other survivors were able to escape from the city. He regretted that he was only able to save so few people that day, and the events that transpired in Raccoon City etched themselves indelibly on his mind. From that point on, he vowed he would do all he could to ensure the world would never see a tragedy like Raccoon City repeated. Tall Oaks Cathedral and the Underground Lab. Standing out in the skyline of Tall Oaks is a cathedral that marks a plot of land that has been in the Simmons family for generations. This land primarily serves as a meeting ground for the family's secretive dealings, and there are many hidden passageways and booby traps to obstruct any potential interlopers. The current head of the family, Derek C. Simmons, recently had a portion of the underground chamber refurbished into a modern research laboratory so he could have scientists conduct research on the C virus. Also, Leon's diorama is the Stagler gas station, which is cool as shit. Lepetitsa is a victim of the C virus, although one that is extremely mutated. The word Lepetitsa, ironically, is derived from the Serbian word for woman of beauty. The creature's body is covered in... This is the anus monster. The creature's body is covered in large pores that secrete a deadly gas. Anyone who inhales its fumes will die and be reanimated as a zombie. One creature has the potential to infect an area within a 3-mile radius. Unlike a traditional zombie infection, which is spread by a zombie's bite or contact with contaminated blood, this creature turns the virus into an airborne agent, thus creating a contaminant that is harder to avoid. The bioterror attack that Agent Kennedy encountered in Tall Oaks was triggered by this creature. Helena Harper 1. Helena Harper is a 24-year-old US government agent. Her sister Deborah is her only known living relative. During the Tall Oaks terrorist attack, she is dispatched by the US Secret Service to protect President Benford. She is a woman of strong moral convictions and is very sympathetic to the plight of others, although she does let her emotions get the better of her from time to time. Helena Harper 2. Helena Harper doesn't compromise her beliefs and is not one to step aside and let others take charge. She does, however, have a tendency to let her emotions get the best of her. She was in the top of her class and the agency's first choice for the job, but officials were concerned that she would let her morals get in the way of her work. They were right. While investigating a series of murders, Helena successfully found and apprehended the killer. In the process, she used excessive force on the suspect and was suspended from the agency. She claimed she had to shut the killer up because he was making threats in front of the victim's family. After her suspension period was over, she found herself in situations where she couldn't maintain her self-control. When Deborah's boyfriend became abusive, an enraged Helena shot and injured him. Her superiors were unwilling to overlook her gross misconduct, but they didn't want to fire her, so they transferred her to the Secret Services. That's not how you get transferred to the Secret Service. During the attack on Tall Oaks, Helena was manipulated by Derek Simmons in his plan to assassinate President Adam Benford. The Catacombs. The catacombs that maze their way under the Tall Oaks go back almost 400 years. They are the final resting place of not only members of the Simmons family, but those who have served under the mysterious organization known as the Family. These underground burial chambers are not known to the public, but the catacombs themselves are still protected by many elaborate contraptions to keep outsiders from digging too deeply into the family's secret affairs. Although the catacombs are primarily used by the Simmons family, the primitively constructed caves and altars hint at the existence of inhabitants prior to them. Deborah Harper. Deborah Harper is a 20-year-old college student and Helena's sister. Unlike her sister, Deborah is a carefree party girl. Their different approaches to life are a cause of friction between them, but those issues aside, the two are actually very close. The two sisters' lives are thrown into chaos when Derek Simmons kidnaps Deborah and uses her for the family's C-virus experiments. When Helena is reunited with her sister, it's not the happy reunion she hoped for. Deborah had been turned into a hideous creature with no semblance of the humanity she once had, other than the gentle facial features that hint at her former beauty. And the spider boobs. Leon and Ada. Ada Wong is a spy whose major activities occur off the grid. Not much is known about her, not even if Ada Wong is an alias or her real name. Ada first encountered Leon Kennedy during the Raccoon City incident in 1998, when Leon was a callow rookie police officer trying desperately to escape from the nightmare that had enveloped Raccoon City. Ada was in the city carrying out a mission for the rival company to the Umbrella Corporation. When circumstances threw the two together, Ada hid the nature of her activities while using Leon to help her carry them out. The life and death struggle they endured brought them close together, and Ada ended up saving Leon's life. Unfortunately, they had to make their way out of the city separately, but they could not forget what they felt for each other. Following their escape, their paths would cross from time to time, Leon as a US government operative and Ada as a spy. Ada makes no qualms about using Leon when it suits her needs, but Leon is loath to bring himself to be done with her. They don't consider each other enemies, but it's hard to tell how they feel for each other. Complicated is the word that aptly summarizes their relationships. Helena's crime. Derek Simmons coerced Helena Harper into helping him assassinate President Benford when he kidnapped her sister Deborah. Helena had no choice but to send out an alert over the Secret Service's radio that a group had entered Ivy University with the intent to kill President Benford. The president was on the campus to deliver a speech, and the Secret Service made sure the president was secure before his speech. A number of agents were dispatched to look for the suspects. This created the opening Derek needed. Helena loved her sister, but she couldn't let herself be party to a terrorist attack. She rushed to the campus to entreat the agents to give up their wild goose chase and protect the president. Many of the agents were aware of her past infractions, so they were disinclined to believe her. Then the attacks came. Because half the agents were out looking for assassins, the service was slow in evacuating President Benford and was unable to save his life. That, and it was an airborne virus. Burzak. Burzak is a victim of the C virus, although one that is extremely mutated. Burzak is derived from the Serbian word for rapids. That's the shark monster. Its aural and ocular faculties are practically non-existent, so it relies on kinetic sensations based on movement in the water to hunt its prey. It will indiscriminately attack all moving prey, be it human or zombie. Cadavers that float in the water, however, do not interest it. Rascal Panji, my favourite! Rascal Panji is a victim of the C virus, although one that is extremely mutated. Rascal Panji is derived from the Serbian word for demolition. I was told dismantle. The smooth white skin that envelops this creature is an exoskeleton designed to protect the slug-like part of its main body, located in the torso. Even if parts of this creature's humanoid form is destroyed, it will not have any effect on the main body. These detached body parts can still search for prey independently and ensnare it. The flexible nature of its structure allows it to pass through narrow openings like ventilation ducts and other tight spaces. Its primary weakness is fire, and when it encounters intense heat, its main body will leap out of its humanoid exoskeleton to escape danger. You can take advantage of that, and I did when I was running around on Veteran, because I had more supplies. Hit it with an incendiary, bye-bye. Derek C. Simmons. Derek C. Simmons, 46 years old, is an aide to the President of the United States. He is a ruthless perfectionist, a personality well disposed to rising a high echelon of power in government. That feels miswritten to me, but whatever. He is the current head of the family, a secret fraternity of powerful movers and shakers that have manipulated the development of the Western world for centuries. This organisation will do whatever is necessary to ensure stability and world order. Fearing the ensuing chaos that would result from President Benford's plan to reveal the truth about the Raccoon City incident, Mr. Simmons orchestrates his own bioterror attack, where the President would be one of the many casualties. Derek's first transformation. After Derek Simmons is injected with an enhanced C virus, he enters a stage 1 mutation. At this stage, his upper body maintains a humanoid appearance, and his violent tendencies are amplified. He is yet to lose his sense of self. His legs, however, transform into something beast-like, and he is powerful enough to outrun a high-speed train. He can also use shards of his own bone as projectiles and can fire them off with deadly accuracy. Any bone matter lost in this matter is regrown thanks to the effects of the C virus. Derek's second transformation. As the C virus infection takes begins to take root in Derek's body. He enters a stage 2 mutation. At this stage, Derek's body resembles... We wanted to fight a T-Rex, but we didn't want to make Dino Crisis 4. At this stage, Derek's body resembles a gigantic dinosaur, and his musculature is quite dense. Unlike the stage 1 mutation, stage 2 Derek behaves instinctually instead of rationally. His driving force is to devour his enemies, and he even goes as far as to leap into the sky and attack a helicopter Ada is piloting. Derek's third transformation. Derek's body continues to mutate and he enters stage 3. Derek's humanity is completely gone at this point, but his survival instincts remain. He ingests multiple corpses in order to give his body the organic matter needed to assume this form. This new, hideous form resembles an amalgamation of multiple insect species. When stage 3 Derek loses a limb or other body part, he can regenerate it by ingesting more corpses. He could, in theory, live forever as long as there are corpses for him to ingest. And now we'll look at the figures. So here is Leon.
It's just like Raccoon. It's just like Raccoon.
Here is, I believe, Helena.
It's all my fault. I did this. It's all my fault. I did this.
My favourite is the Ashley one in 4 when she's like, Leon, help! Like, they knew. Simmons.
It's my job to prevent terrorist attacks, not cause them.
President Benford.
I've always valued your friendship, Leon.
I treasure your friendship. The Lepetista. I can't say these Serbian names. Ugh. That ass, though. Spider Boobs. Oh, it's not Spider Boobs. She's tied to a chair. That's somehow even worse. Why would you make a figure of that? That's... Oh. I think this is Berserk. Yep. What did I tell you about sharks with goddamn hands? When you can actually get a look at it, a proper look at it. Look at those stupid hands. Stop making sharks with hands, Resident Evil. Like, more than once is weird. This is the Shrieker, I think? And that scream does enough damage to kill you, as you saw earlier in the playthrough. This is the Bloodshot. Yep. Like Crimson Head 2.0 / Liquor hybrid thing. And this is the fat guy, the Whopper. Oh, it's not. Oh, Whopper and Whopper Supreme. It's, oh, dearie me. There, they are rather suggestively posing. That's gross. Okay, Chris. Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is a 39-year-old BSAA operative working for its North American branch. He was the leader of Alpha Team until he suffered post-traumatic amnesia and wound up a belligerent drunk in the underbelly of Eastern Europe. See, I thought it was Ireland. It looked Irish to me. Around this time, a biohazard outbreak in China shocks the world. Piers Nivens, his teammate on Alpha, finds Chris and convinces him to resume his leadership role in the BSAA. Despite his memory loss, Chris retains the fortitude and leadership skills that made him one of the BSAA's top agents. The BSAA, in the wake of the Umbrella Corporation's dissolution in 2003, many other pharmaceutical companies saw their bioorganic weapons research enter the black market. Whether in the hands of organised crime or terrorists, bioweapons were destroying lives around the world. In response to voices calling for action to be taken, the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium formed the anti-terrorist task force known as the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, BSAA. Initially, the BSAA was just a civilian organisation with only advisory status. But as the threat posed by the bioterrorism spread, the United Nations decided to sponsor the group in order to have a quick response force that could deal with threats around the world. With its new sponsorship in place, the BSAA gained the authority to carry out investigations in countries the world over and to make arrests whether it is dispatched. Except America. Giavo. The C virus will turn human hosts into creatures called Giavo. These creatures lose all self-control, but they fail to exhibit any noticeable drop in mental functions. This would explain reports of Giavo skillfully handling firearms and communicating with other Giavo in their country's native tongue. Giavo will tend to follow the final order they were given before being infected with the C virus. They will do this with no thought for their own safety or well-being. Well, you saw that because they were forcibly mutating themselves on this difficulty that we just did. The virus creates an intense febrile state in the host, and the more the host is damaged, the hotter it becomes. Many Giavo have been seen to succumb to their wounds, burning to death in bright hot flames that engulf their bodies. Giavo mutations. After the C virus turns an infected human into a Giavo, the host will continue to mutate, with the mutation usually occurring in a specific section of its body. When a host's body is damaged, the regenerative properties of the C virus will attempt to repair the damage. The repairs replace the normal human tissue with chitinous insect-like appendages. In some cases, the repairs take on a utilitarian purpose, replacing arms with scythe or shield-like appendages. Other reports say that some Giavo sprouted wings and gained the ability to fly. Certain mutations, like the aforementioned wings, have been observed on numerous occasions. The exact number of types of mutations that actually exist is unknown. Piers Nivens. Piers Nivens is a 26-year-old BSAA operative working for its North American branch. Chris Redfield is his commanding officer. His hand-eye coordination and concentration skills are without peer, making him the BSAA's top-ranking sniper. He can react quickly to the changing conditions on a battlefield, and as such he will usually find a way to complete his mission in spite of any adverse conditions. A serious and determined man in battle, he still has time to offer a kind word for his fellow soldiers. It is these qualities that cause his CO to comment that the future of the BSAA rests on shoulders of men like him. Nivens himself prefers not to think of his team as subordinates, but as members of a big family. He believes that the strength of the BSAA hinges on the bonds of all its agents. He holds Captain Redfield in the highest respect, and Captain Redfield trusts him implicitly. Zombie soldiers. Ogreman. The Ogreman is a type of BOW used by the insurgents during the civil war in Edonia. Ogreman is derived from the Serbian for giant body. As the name would suggest, this creature is one of the largest stable BOWs known to exist. Its strength is incalculable, and it is violent and destructive. These BOWs lack intelligence and will just act on the orders they are given without thought or hesitation. Go stomp. The C virus. The C virus will turn human hosts into creatures called Giavo. The virus mutates the host in horrific ways and is the latest bioorganic weapon to threaten the safety of the world. One of the first known uses was as a health-preserving drug given to mercenary soldiers in one of Eastern Europe's many internecine conflicts. Following its use in Europe, many Giavo-like creatures began to turn up around the world. The C stands for chrysalid, as the virus will encase a human host in a cocoon-like shell before its final mutation. Napad. Napad is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C virus. These are the bulldog gorilla things. Napad is that I could never get the name of right. Is derived from the Serbian word for assault. This creature has a hard, protective epidermis, as well as dense, tough musculature. The creature attacks by swinging its large, powerful arms recklessly. When it becomes excited, it has been observed to thump on its chest much like a gorilla. The Napad's standard body temperature is much higher than a Giavo's. It's so high, in fact, that its body constantly gives off steam in order to maintain a non-life-threatening temperature level. How Napad manages to give off steam without dehydrating itself is unknown. Come on, it just looked cool, that's why we did it. Any damage to the creature, whether by gunshot or blunt force trauma, will chip away at its shell-like exterior, revealing the soft muscle tissue underneath. The nerve centre under the shell on its back is very sensitive. Damage to this area will kill the creature instantly. It won't kill it instantly. You've seen me put a full round of shotgun fire into that and nothing. Finn McCauley. Finn McCauley is a 22-year-old BSAA operative working for its Northern American branch. The first real action he sees is in Edonia's civil war. Chris Redfield is his commanding officer. He is honest and sincere, if somewhat timid. As an explosives expert, he is tasked with destroying barricades and anti-aircraft gun turrets. Unfortunately, he falls victim to Ada's machinations, succumbing to an infection that turns him into one of the very BOWs he was tasked with fighting. After losing his humanity during the transformation into a mindless creature, he is killed by BSAA support troops dispatched to Adonia to dispose of the BOWs. He's just there to make Chris sad. Kid died. You shouldn't put a fucking kid... whatever. Chris's amnesia. Chris Redfield suffered post-traumatic amnesia after he and his team were caught in a trap sprung by Ada Wong in the Republic of Adonia. Most of his team died and an unconscious Chris was brought to a local hospital. Upon waking up, Chris had no recollection of who he was or what had occurred, but his mind was racked by an overwhelming and inexplicable guilt. Chris determined to run away, and he left the hospital before anyone could check in on him. Until Piers Nivens and the BSAA found him, Chris lived as a moody and violent drunk, hoping that he could numb himself to the pain of what happened that fateful day. Bossawan. Bossawan is a shantytown district located in the Chinese city of Wayip, built around the remains of a ruined fortress. Chris Redfield and Alpha Team chase a BOW with a highly developed camouflage ability to this area. In the early 20th century, the area was a base of operations for British colonialism. The Emperor of China was able to rally the surrounding peoples to extirpate the British from their land. Following British abandonment, bloody British, fucking assholes, the areas of Bossawan lapsed into a lawless zone. With no one in control, people started building dwellings haphazardly until they piled up into the current labyrinthine mess the district is today. It's actually super detailed as well. They even have like the fucking dodgy dentist. Elusisha. The Elusisha is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C virus. Elusisha is derived from the Serbian word for phantom. This creature closely resembles a monstrously large snake, Yawn 2.0, well, like 7.9 at this point. One that can camouflage its body to blend into its surroundings. When the creature spots its prey, it starts to behave erratically. When it is in a weakened state, its ability to camouflage itself is greatly reduced. To compensate for the loss of this defensive mechanism, parts of its skin will become extremely hard, making it difficult to kill with conventional weapons. Chris's file. Chris Redfield began his military career as a pilot in the United States Air Force. His unwillingness to compromise brought him into direct conflict. Well, there we go. Everyone was whining about how does he know how to fire a jet. It says it right there. Conflict with his superiors. Unable to settle these differences, Chris retired from the Air Force. He was then scouted by... See, it used to be he punched his superior officer. He was then scouted by Raccoon City's Special Forces, STARS, because of his superior fighting skills and pilot qualifications. After what came to be known as the Mansion incident on the outskirts of Raccoon City, Chris set off on his own to stop Umbrella and make the world aware of the threat of bioweapons. Following Umbrella's dissolution in 2003, Chris decided to join the BSAA and continue the fight. This brought him to Africa in 2009 and into direct conflict with his former boss, Albert Wesker. Chris killed Albert during the operation, and he was finally able to put to rest all the ghosts of Umbrella and Raccoon City. In 2012, during an operation in Adonia, all his BSAA soldiers except for Piers Nivens are turned into BOWs. So Chris suffered from head trauma. There we go, he had head trauma. That led to amnesia. Well, that was when it launched him across the room. It wasn't until 6 months later that Piers was able to find him again. And now he hunts wolves. Chris and Leon. Chris Redfield and Leon Kennedy work for two different organisations and have no reason to interact with each other, but they do share one connection: Chris's sister Claire. Following the Mansion incident in 1998, Chris set out for Europe on his own, determined to bring down Umbrella. Before he left, he neglected to inform Claire as to his whereabouts, so she came to Raccoon City to find him. There she met Leon, and together they thought their way out of the horrors of Raccoon City. Claire was then reunited with Chris on Rockford Island. She loves and respects her brother, and she considers Leon a trusted friend. Not anymore, she doesn't. Go and watch Infinite Darkness. That's how they fell out. With Claire as a mutual contact, it would only be a matter of time before the two met. Although Infinite Darkness took place before this, which is the weird bit. They keep messing with the timeline. Although the interactions between their respective organisations are highly restricted, when they finally met, both were able to understand each other's deep convictions, particularly those related to the eradication of bioorganic weapons. Neo Umbrella. In Adonia, Chris and his BSAA team fell into a trap set by Ada Wong. She used the C virus to turn his team into BOWs. As the leader of Neo Umbrella, Ada brought the C virus that had been developed in China to the civil war in Adonia, where she secretly gave it to the insurgents to administer to its mercenary fighters. The mercenaries then mutated into creatures known as Juavo, and she gathered the data on their transformations. Chris has spent most of his life fighting the pharmaceutical company Umbrella, almost losing it on numerous occasions. It's not hard to imagine what he thought when he first heard the name Neo Umbrella. Why Ada named her organisation such is a question only she could answer. He kind of works with Umbrella now. From the files of Neo Umbrella. 2. All Neo Umbrella staff. At 23:29 today, our leader Ada Wong's vital signs ceased. At the same time, Plan D was shown to be activated. All personnel in our Far East facilities are urged to head for one of the predetermined safety zones. This emergency notice is for all human staff and not for Juavo test subjects. An emergency cable will be sent to the underwater facility once Plan D is fully in motion. Yeah, about that. Piers file. All the men in Piers Niven's family have been in the military, going all the way back to his great-grandfather. For as long as he could remember, Piers wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. He graduated at the top of his class from an elite military academy where he was highly recognised for his skills as a sniper. Following graduation, he joined the Army Special Forces. Not long after joining the Special Forces, he became disillusioned. While he continued to participate in drills without a hitch, he yearned for some greater calling, a reason for all this training. In 2010, he found that calling when Chris Redfield, impressed with Piers' sniper skills, asked for him to join the BSAA. You can read a manhwa about this. I think it's called Heavenly Island. Piers was impressed with the way Chris ran Alpha Team. He treated them like a family and not like expendable soldiers. Chris, for his part, knew he couldn't be a field agent forever, which is why he recruited Piers. Chris believes the future of the BSAA lies with talented individuals like Piers, and Piers, for his part, now has a cause worth fighting for. About that. Chris and Albert. Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker, Jake Muller's father, have a history that goes back to when the two were on the same STARS team and encountered the world's first known BOWs during the Mansion incident in 1998. It turned out later that this accident was engineered by Albert, who was working for Umbrella. As a result, Chris lost many good friends and colleagues. Like, 3 people? No, 6 people. Wait, Enrico, Richard, Forrest. No, and then, okay, Dewey. Alright, there's a couple. Chris set out to stop Umbrella and prevent the spread of BOWs, which led him into conflict with Albert on numerous occasions. In 2009, Chris found himself in Africa as he attempted to stop Albert from murdering a majority of the planet's population. During their battle, Albert mutated himself into a BOW, but he was killed thanks to Chris and his partner Sheva Alomar. Thankfully, Albert's plans of global genocide were never realised. Underwater facility. Neo Umbrella's deep-sea research facility was built so that the group could have a secret location to create BOWs. It takes like 20 minutes to read one set of files. Teams of scientists extracted magma from below the ocean floor to find bacteria and microbes that could thrive in such extreme conditions, then added their traits to the sea virus to give life to powerful BOWs. Where Neo Umbrella found the financial backing to construct such an august facility remains unknown, and will never be answered. Chaos. Chaos is a gigantic BOW and the ultimate weapon created by Neo Umbrella at its underwater facility. The creature has translucent skin, making humanoid bone structures and internal organs visible to the naked eye. In addition, there are also gas-producing organs that secrete a gas that turns humans into zombies. This gas is thousands of times more concentrated than Lepotitsa's, and its potential infection radius is just as exponentially wide. Should it ever reach the surface, it would follow its programming and continue to divide and multiply. You remember when we shot it and then the little bit runs around and killed me a million times? While screeching? In only a few days, these Chaos creatures would contaminate the entire planet. In the event of Neo Umbrella's leader Ada Wong's death, the Chaos creature would still be released. However, depending on when that occurs, there is a possibility the creature could be released at an incomplete stage of its development. Let's have a look at the figures. Let's start up here with Chris. There he is. There's our boy.
I can't keep running away. I can't keep running away.
Did you send out those invitations? I told you, no more than 50 people.
Take me back, Captain.
Are we going to get a mutated Piers one? That'd be cool. That is literally one of the largest BOWs I think we've ever seen. Oh, is this the Nesdo? Yeah. Lady Dimitrescu's daughter. Ugh. There's some Leon there. Chris and Leon.
Leon, what are you doing here?
I'd pay for one of them in real life. Is this Chaos? It is. I assume it was gonna, like, the sacks were gonna, like, give off C-virus gas, because I can't see how it would, like, wipe out the whole planet, even if it was constantly regenerating. We'd just nuke it. They've done it before. Oh, it's our favourite. Ugh. The Rasclapanier. I hate it. Oh, we got another Chris figure.
Alright.
It's rare. He's got his knife out.
This is it.
This is the Alucia. I don't know what this... Oh, this might be the chainsaw guy. No, it's the Napad. Hate you. Okay, Jake's stuff. Yeah, that's the chainsaw guy. Jake Muller. Jake Muller is a 20-year-old professional mercenary under the employ of rebel forces in Edonia. Despite his youth, his combat experience is quite high, and his survival skills are quite formidable. His cynicism creates an unapproachable aura, and even his fellow mercenaries consider him to be moody and distant. The only thing he trusts in this world is cold, hard cash, and he has no time for the concerns of others. He is the consummate mercenary, selling his services to the highest bidder without any concern for the ideologies of the group that employ him. Soldiers of Fortune. Jake Muller spent most of his teenage years as a mercenary, fighting on the front lines of countless conflicts the world over. The first group of mercenaries he joined taught him everything he needed to know about armed and unarmed combat. His trainer was strict and demanding, but treated him almost like a son, and Jake found himself able to feel a sense of attachment to him, something he had only previously felt through his mother. Unfortunately, that mercenary was actually a double agent who sold out the whole unit. After being betrayed by his father figure, Jake put his faith in the only person who would never let him down, himself. Any compassion in his heart was lost, and he drifted from war to war as a soldier of fortune, with ridiculous healing and super strength. Bioorganic weapons, BOWs. Bioorganic weapon, an organic life form that has been turned into a weapon, usually by means of viral infection. The virus is designed not to kill the host outright, but to transform it into a creature that is suited for combat situations. The creatures that ran amok during the leak of the T-virus in Raccoon City in 1998 are typical of such BOWs. Usternek. Usternek is a powerful creature dispatched by Neo Umbrella to capture Jake Muller. Usternek is derived from the Serbian word for revolution. This creature is nigh indestructible, an unstoppable powerhouse that is sent after Jake Muller and Sherry Birkin. The creature has a metallic structure on its right arm for restraining targets. Once the target has been apprehended, the creature can use one of the syringes on its arms to take tissue samples from the target. Lovely. Sherry Birkin. Sherry Birkin is a 26-year-old US agent working under the direct command of the US presidential aide. She's the one of only a handful of people to survive the Raccoon City incident in 1998. During the incident, Sherry was infected with the G virus. While she survived exposure to the virus itself, the US government took her into custody to monitor how the virus would affect her physiology. Thus began her time as a human guinea pig, poked and prodded by curious scientists and government officials. In 2009, she was inexplicably offered a position as a special agent in the employ of the United States. She quickly assented in order to escape her life of forced imprisonment. God damn, she was in prison for 11 years, even though in practice she was still under the watchful eye of the government. She lacks the experience of more seasoned agents, but she can still hold her own against Jake Muller, and she's capable of providing the emotional support he has lacked for most of his life. In spite of the tragedy she has witnessed, she still believes implicitly in the good of people, and she should come back for more games. The G-Virus. William Birkin, father of Sherry Birkin, is responsible for the discovery of and research on the G-virus, a virus with incredible regenerative and reproductive abilities. The G-virus causes the host to lose rational thought, turning it into a violent creature that seeks to replicate the virus as an embryo in a person with blood ties to the original host. Yeah. During the Raccoon City incident, an armed group sought to steal the G-virus and killed William Birkin in the process. Before his death, however, Birkin injected himself with the virus, thus consummating his life's work. Revived by the virus, Birkin sought out his nearest blood relative, his daughter Sherry, and injected her with an embryo for the G-virus. Claire Redfield created an antidote to stop the embryo from mutating Sherry's body, but even after the expulsion of the embryo, trace amounts of the G-virus remained in her body. The result of the government's tests on her is that she has incredible regenerative abilities, including immunity to most viruses. Her youthful appearance is thought to be due to the G-virus as well. Much like with Jill, and was it T Jill got? I think Jill got T antibodies, or well, she's vaccinated against T abyss, and she's got T antibodies and G antibodies, or whatever. Mesets. The Mesets is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C-virus. Mesets is derived from the Serbian word for moonlight. Mesets resembles a human-sized crow. This is the gargoyles from Village, and has the ability to fly and chase after prey. It prefers the flesh of cadavers to living organisms, so it rarely eats its prey after capturing it. Instead, it will release its prey from high in the air in order to kill it. Mesets will then roost over the corpse and peck away at its flesh. It is one of the few high-level mutations that can use tools. It has been known to drop steel drums and other objects from the sky when hunting its prey. I've never seen it do that, but you very rarely see that one unless you're playing on a higher difficulty. Oko. Oko are creatures that are released from an organ on Ustinet's back. Insect-like in appearance, their erratic flight patterns are more indicative of bats. Oko is derived from the Serbian word for eye. As their namesake implies, they act as the eyes for the visually impaired Ustinek, but ironically rely on ultrasonic waves to track their prey. Their sense organs are shared with Ustinek, and when a target is found, they emit a flash and flap their wings at a level only Ustinek can detect. The mechanism behind this shared sensory perception is unknown. We don't know, it's cool, okay? Their ultrasonic waves cannot pass through walls and other barriers. The Oko serve no function in combat, and their fragile bodies are quite easy to destroy. Yeah, just sneak up behind them and hit R2. Jake's childhood. Jake Muller was born into a home without a father, and from an early age he had to support his chronically ill mother. She could have made a full recovery if his family could have afforded it, but Jake and Ms. Muller had barely enough money to cover their daily needs. She tried her best to provide for the family, and she did all she could to protect Jake. He loved his mother, but couldn't understand why she was still enamored with his father, the man who had abandoned them. To say Jake didn't think highly of his father would be an understatement. When Jake got older, he decided he would become a mercenary, selling his services to insurgents fighting the government. He had no love for politics, he just wanted to afford better medical care for his mother. Unfortunately, Miss Muller passed away not long after he became a soldier of fortune. Jake felt like he was alone in the world, and his heart was now hardened. His only concern was for money, even though he no longer had a pressing need for it. Detention Center. Neo-Umbrella agents abduct Jake Muller and Sherry Birkin from Edonia and imprison them in their research facility in China. The facility itself is surrounded by a luxurious estate that masks the sinister activities that take place within its walls. The estate is protected by heavily armoured Juavo and armoured vehicles, ready to fend off any attack at a moment's notice, apart from inside. Lab report, June 20th, 2011. Finally, at last I've been chosen. The report came back that my body type is highly compatible with the C-virus. No longer will I have this frail, crude body. I will be reborn as a powerful weapon. There's a chance I will no longer retain my humanity, but is a paltry sacrifice in light of the wonderful gains. This is what I've dreamed about all my life. I will be reborn. I wonder who that is. Strelats. Strelats is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C-virus. Strelats is derived from the Serbian word for archer. This creature's primary function is to frighten off invaders, either by expelling a gas or dagger-like pieces of its own body. When an enemy gets in close range to these creatures, they tend to turn tail and run away. Like many lizard species, they can climb up walls and crawl on ceilings. Sherry and the Raccoon City incident. In 1998, William Birkin, father of Sherry Birkin, decided to keep the results of his G-virus research for himself. His superiors at Umbrella had grown tired of his attitudes and sent commando unit to retrieve the virus for them. The unit's mission coincided with the T-virus leak that had contaminated Raccoon City. The confluence of these two events contributed greatly to the city's destruction. I shouldn't be doing this at fucking midnight. It's about to turn into the 17th, ladies and gentlemen. Sherry Birkin was also caught up in these events, but thanks to the heroic efforts of Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, she was able to survive the incident. Sherry considered Claire to be her new mother after losing both her parents. It was Claire's love and devotion that had the greatest impact on Sherry's development, and Claire's nurturing and compassionate ways have manifested themselves in Sherry's own personality. Life without freedom. Following the Raccoon City incident, the US government decided to take Sherry Birkin into custody and keep her under observation because of the trace amount of the G-virus that remained in her blood. Claire Redfield stayed by Sherry's side during the time she had to suffer through daily tests and experiments. While it was Claire who provided emotional support, it was Derek Simmons who became her legal guardian. Claire visited Sherry as often as she could, trying to help Sherry overcome all the trauma she had endured. Sherry idolized Claire and was determined to be just like her, a strong, capable woman. Derek was not without compassion for the orphan girl, and he allowed Claire, a civilian, to visit and comfort Sherry, even though the girl's existence was a closely guarded state secret. In total, Sherry spent 11 years in the hands of the government. It wasn't until 2009 she was given any freedom. I imagine Claire could have just sent her big brother in to beat the fuck out of Derek Simmons, and most of this game could have been avoided. Experiment log. June 27, 2011. 5 days have passed since the test subject was administered with the C virus. All vital signs are stable. This is not the ideal candidate for such a test, but considering how the previous 322 subjects all died within 24 hours, I'd say this is a substantial progress. He was chosen well. The only setback is that the subject lost his right arm during a lab accident, and the C virus has shown an inability to regenerate it. Still, the subject shows potential in other areas we had not anticipated, and will make for a perfect bioweapon. That's good considering how pleased he was to be selected for this experiment. July 2nd, 2011. The test subject has now been codenamed Usternak, and in terms of raw strength and intelligence, it far outstrips any Joavo to date. It shows an uncanny ability in creating and choosing the appropriate weapons for apprehending its target. Word has come down from the top that special weapons are being created for Usternak, ones that will help it compensate for the loss of its right arm. Ubistvo. The Ubistvo is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C virus. Ubistvo is derived from the Serbian word for murder. Ubistvo is humanoid in form, but its spinal column, ribcage and heart are all located in its right hand. No, they're not, because how is it standing up with no spine? Which itself resembles a monstrous organic chainsaw. You could just say it grew another spine. Which itself resembles a monstrous organic chainsaw. The heart in its hand not only powers the chainsaw, but also keeps Ubistvo alive. Destroy the heart and Ubistvo will die immediately. Lies. Its fragile appearance belies the fact that it is quite strong and very difficult to hurt. Ubistvo is not easily distracted once it is decided on a target. True facts. That guy bullied me. Jake Muller's infamous father. Albert Wesker, father of Jake Muller, had a very rare physiology. His body was highly resistant to viral infection, and he was able to manipulate the virus he had injected into himself so that it would only reap their benefits and none of the deleterious effects. This self-experimentation gave him abilities that can only be described as superhuman. As Albert's son, Jake enjoyed the same immunity to viral infection. When Jake injects himself with a solution containing the C virus, it has no visible effect on him. Albert Wesker planned what would have been the deadliest terrorist attack in human history, and he would have succeeded had Chris Redfield and the BSAA not killed him in time. Jake has never met his father and knows nothing about the atrocities he committed. He is also unaware of the genetic legacy he is heir to. A deal with the United States. The reason the US government took Sherry Birkin into custody is twofold. One, they had hoped to study the G-virus that remained in her blood, and two, they sought to protect her from Albert Wesker, who wanted to possess a sample of the G-virus. In 2009, the organisation Albert had worked for fell apart after he was eliminated by the BSAA on a mission in Africa. Sherry was thus freed from the threat posed by Albert and his organisation. The government offered her a chance to leave their protective care if she agreed to come work for them. Sherry learned of how bioweapons had caused the deaths of countless people around the world, and she couldn't bear to think of others enduring what she had experienced as a child. She readily agreed to work as a special agent under the direct supervision of Derek C. Simmons. Agent Birkin's latest assignment is to find Jake Muller, the only known living individual with C-virus antibodies, and escort him back to the United States. Usternak Part 2. Sorry, I'm going to have a sip of drink. I do hope I warned you at the start of this video that this was going to be a long one. Usternek was created to be the ultimate BOW. Originally a human had freely injected himself with the C virus. His final grotesque form was a result of Neo Umbrella's scientists. Excuse me. Even though he is a manufactured BOW, all his mental faculties as a human remain intact, giving him a capacity for cogent thought. This makes Usternek the perfect candidate for carrying out missions on his own. A side effect of the mutation is that it may have even increased his intelligence, as he is able to use complex machinery and equipment soon after picking it up. C-virus vaccine. Anti-C is the tentative name given by the US government to the vaccine for the C-virus created from the blood work of Jake Muller. When this vaccine is administered to a person not yet infected by the C-virus, that person will be given immunity to the virus. The vaccine, however, only shows a very low success rate in helping people who have already been infected, and only if those people have not displayed any characteristics unique to the Juavo. Usually administration in this stage is fatal. When the person already displays Juavo characteristics or has entered a cocoon or mutation stage, administration of the vaccine is always fatal. The anti-C is not a guarantee against infection by the C-virus, but its mere existence helps provide a measure of security to the world's population. Let's have a looky-loo at the figures. Jake Muller. What voice line does it have?
Man, look at this circus. You got any popcorn?
I don't remember him saying that line. Let's look at Sherry.
You could be the key to saving this world, Jake Muller.
The fact that they ditched so many characters because of the negative reception of this game is just horrifying to me. Ada needs her own game. Sherry needs her own game. You kind of get a good look at all the fucking eyes these dudes grow. What's this? Strelok? Yeah. I too have seen Jurassic Park. What's this one? Ah, it's the Usternek. Like, he willingly volunteered for this. That's fucked up. Yeah, I know it made him smarter as well, but he must have been really dumb. Juavo. Mutated Juavo 1. I do love the adaptive mutations. This is the gargoyle from Resident Evil Village. Mezet, that's what it was called. Weirdly, we actually saw some of these in Chris's campaign as well, although I don't know if that footage is in the playthrough. But yeah, remember them in Resident Evil Village? Same fucking thing. What's this one? Chainsaw dude? Yeah. Look at that one, like he's already had quite a traumatic head injury by the looks of it. There's just one eye out. I'm sorry, if your spine is in your chainsaw, you're not going to be stood up like that. Come on, Resident Evil 6. Jake. Rare. By rare, we mean lewd.
Weapon to kill assholes like you?
And Sherry.
I'm not even gonna attempt to fight until I get a gun.
That is barely on her. It's ridiculous. Okay. Oh, looks like we got a zombie dog figure here. Is that a mutated Piers, maybe? That definitely looks like a Deborah. That looks like Ada in a diving suit, and that looks like Carla the cum monster. That's Carla, Ada, Leon. Let's have a go with it then. Ada. Ada Wong. Not much is known about the international spy Ada Wong, including her age or whom she works for. Even her true name, as well as her aims, remain a mystery. She's just cool as shit. She's like James Bond. What is known is that no matter how difficult... Well, actually, James Bond's name actually was James Bond, it turned out, in Skyfall. What is known is that no matter how difficult her missions may be, she has the brains and the physical ability to pull them off without a hitch. While there is a stoicism in her demeanour, it is her poise and sang-froid that she is known for. She appears to be working towards a specific goal, and once she accomplishes it, she's the type who would have no qualms about betraying her handlers. In 1998, she went to Raccoon City with the intent of secreting out a sample of the G-Virus. It was there that she first met Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop at the time. Following the events of Raccoon City, she has been known to offer aid to Leon on his missions, but mostly as a ploy to enlist his help. Currently, Ada has snuck aboard a submarine after being contacted by Derek Simmons, a man she hasn't heard from since the Raccoon City incident. While on the submarine, she discovers a mission that was never fielded to her, and a terrible secret that will spur her to act. What form those actions will take is anyone's guess. Report on Jake Muller. Mr. Simmons, the mission to find the son of Albert Wesker has been completed. I have confirmed that Jake Muller is the biological son of Wesker. Name, Jake Muller. Age 20. Citizenship, Republic of Edonia. Physical characteristics, Caucasian, 190 centimeters, blue eyes. Has been in the employ of Edonian mercenaries for 5 years. Has trained or fought in all parts of Europe, the Middle East, and South America. A DNA sample from Muller proved his relationship to Wesker. Wesker's alleged immunity to viral infection has manifested itself in Muller. Unfortunately, the DNA sample I obtained would not be enough to assist with C-virus research. A bodily fluid, blood, saliva, or bone marrow sample would be required. It is my recommendation that you dispatch your top agent to secure a tissue sample from Muller. End. Submarine. Ada Wong sneaks onto a submarine in order to find out what Derek Simmons is planning. When she gets there, she finds that the security system responds to her fingerprints and voice, and there's information on her that no one should have. Throughout the submarine, Derek's hand can be seen in it all, from the room decor to the layout itself. It is a mystery as to who built the submarine and for what purpose. We just wanted a level on a sub. Nesdo. Lady Dimitrescu's daughters. The Nesdo is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C-virus. Nesdo is derived from the Serbian word for hive. That's what Marco turned into. These small creatures have the appearance of hornets and can form a swarm that mirrors the size and shape of a human being. Just as with ants and bees, the Nesdo behave with a hive mindset, but each individual creature has its own role to play. Where the Nesdo differ is that the queen does not continue to propagate the species, but serves only as a commander, giving out orders like a general to an army. Sensory perceptions are shared between the queen and the individual Nesdo. If the queen is lost, the swarm will dissolve. As long as she lives, however, the swarm will remain intact and follow her commands. The queen is hard to spot amongst the swarm as it attempts to conceal and protect her. An attack on the swarm will momentarily scatter the Nesdo, revealing the queen and exposing her to danger. Ada and Derek. Derek Simmons believes in world stability, and he, along with the family, believe in preserving that stability even if they have to act illegally to do so. When Derek first met Ada Wong, it caused a ripple in his normally logical and unperturbed personality. Ada's skills as a spy were unparalleled, and the missions she carried out for him were instrumental in his goals. A fracture in their work relationship was formed when Ada learned that Derek was behind the operation to raise Raccoon City. Realizing it was dangerous to keep company with Derek, Ada left his employ, never looking back. From that point on, Derek has been maniacal in his plans to get back Ada, whether it was because he felt an emotional attachment to her or because he thought she was the only woman whose intelligence could match his own is unknown. But this monomania with Ada led him to put a sinister plan into action. Yeah, creepy sex doll. Ugh. Scorched Earth. Operation Bacillus Terminate was the name for the missile strike ordered by the US government to halt the spread of the virus in Raccoon City in 1998. The decision to raise the city of 100,000, surprisingly small amount of people, to be honest, killing infected and survivors alike, came from Derek C. Simmons, a high-ranking government official. Raccoon City was a case study for his future plans, as he believed the world would stop using traditional weapons and switch over to bioweapons. The data provided by Raccoon City allowed him to assess the efficacy of such weapons, but he made certain that the truth of Umbrella's involvement and their bioweapons program would never be known. Eager to resolve the issue as quickly as possible, he urged the more hawkish members of the president's administration to eradicate Raccoon City for the sake of the country. The attack on Tall Oaks was devised by Simmons to show the world and dubious officials in government the threat bioweapons pose in the hands of terrorists, as well as to prevent President Benford from revealing the truth behind Raccoon City. Well, you wouldn't want to be known as the man who murked 1 million souls or 100,000 souls. I mean, we don't really know how big Raccoon City. Sometimes it's a town called City. Note found in a laboratory. To my dear sister Helena, I'm sorry I was never the good sister I should have been, even though you love me unconditionally. I'm sorry for everything. They injected me with something. It's making me forget things. Who I am, who you are even. I don't want that. Please know that I've always loved you, too. I don't want to leave you. Hope you will find someone to love you. Don't want to forget love you. Shrieker. The Shrieker is a type of zombie that can summon other zombies by emitting a large sound that stimulates their aural faculties. In addition, zombies' nervous systems react to the sound, and this reaction causes them to behave more violently. If someone were to interfere with the sound the Shrieker is emitting, it would change to a high-frequency sound that will overload the aural receptors in the zombies' brains and destroy that part of it. I can't say I've ever seen a Shrieker kill the zombies around it. I mean, we had problems with Shriekers earlier in this playthrough. Fucking one-hit killing me with their screams. 2 Ada Wongs. There are reports of 2 Ada Wongs involved in the current crises. One is the famed spy that comes to the aid of Leon Kennedy from time to time. The other Ada Wong is the leader of Neo Umbrella, and the one responsible for introducing Juavo to Edonia 6 months prior. The former is the true Ada Wong, and the latter is a copy created by Derek Simmons utilizing the C-virus. The fake Ada contacts the real Ada, telling her about the impending biohazard about to be unleashed in China. The real Ada decides to go to China to find out what this imposter's intentions are. Ada in Raccoon City. In 1998, Albert Wesker, Jake Mueller's father, sent Ada Wong on a mission in Raccoon City to retrieve a sample of the G-virus William Birkin was hoarding for himself. When William's wife Annette interfered with that mission, Ada used Leon Kennedy to have him unwittingly aid her. Ada then made her way back to Albert with a sample of the virus in hand. This is true. She played him like a fucking fiddle. In 2004, Albert ordered Ada to Europe to obtain a sample of the La Plaga parasite. There she encountered Leon again and ended up stealing the parasite sample he had procured. She did not, however, hand the sample over to Albert. She kept it for herself and went off the grid. She had her own intentions for keeping the virus. She was not going to allow herself to be a pawn in Albert's plan for global domination. Then, I guess, Wesker got it from... It's weird that they call him Albert. He's clearly Wesker. Wesker got his pluggers from someone else then. The Family. Derek C. Simmons is the current head of a secret organization known only as The Family. The Family were founded by one of Derek's ancestors before the United States was even founded. And it's vast... Well, that's not that long ago. Sorry, Americans. Your country is a baby and stupid. Its vast network of wealth and power extends throughout the globe. The Family has been manipulating the course of human development for a long time. Their ostensible goal is to maintain stability in the world, but its true motivation lies in exploiting events to benefit its members. For now, they believe maintaining that stability is contingent upon keeping the United States as the top of the pyramid of world power. If the truth about the US government's connections to Umbrella's bioweapons program were to get out, it would destabilize the world and remove America from the top of that hierarchy of power. Derek sets into motion a plan that will launch a bioterrorist attack and assassinate the president, thus preserving the Family's designs on power and stability. Bloodshot. During the biohazard incident, this is the goddamn Crimson Head motherfuckers that I hate. An extremely rare type of zombie was discovered, one that had most of its head destroyed. The creature was given the misnomer of Bloodshot because all of the muscle tissue was exposed. Unlike normal zombies, the creature is incredibly agile, and the speed with which it will attack and devour flesh is incomparable. These differences are thought to be a mutation brought on by the C-virus. Carla Radames. Carla Radames was responsible for the discovery of the C-virus and a close confidant of Derek C. Simmons. A prodigy in her youth, Carla completed a doctorate course in genetics when she was only 15. No, she didn't. No one completed a doctorate course in genetics when they were 15. After which she was recruited by Derek to work for him manufacturing viruses and BOWs. Derek praised her for her intelligence and successful research, and his praise increased her devotion to him. One way she tried to earn his praise was by developing the C-virus. As it would turn out, she was nothing more than a tool for him to accomplish his goals. The person Carla Radames ceased to exist when she was used against her will in Derek's experiment to recreate Ada Wong as a sex doll, but we're not going to talk about that bit. Derek and Carla. Derek Simmons used countless test subjects in his efforts to clone Ada Wong. The main impediment to those efforts was finding subjects with compatible genetic structure. Using the extensive resources of the Family, Derek learned that one of his own researchers, Carla Radames, would be a suitable candidate. Derek tricked Carla into taking part in the experiment because she believed Derek valued her and her work too much to risk her. She was wrong, and Derek succeeded in creating the clone of Ada he had desired. While Carla looked and behaved similar to Ada, there was still a piece of her that remained Carla. Derek's relationship with Ada had only been professional, so he couldn't see that this clone was not the real Ada. Whether through misguided affections or a desire to revenge himself on Ada, he ignored any nagging doubt and began to treat and train Carla as if she were the real Ada Wong. Carla, having lost most of her personality during the experiment, behaved as Derek wanted. But in the depths of her soul, there was still a spark of Carla's original self, and once I nearly said Carlos then, that would be an interesting twist. And once it came to the surface, she vowed to destroy Derek, the man who had ruined her life. Well, you would. He turned you into a sex doll. From Carla's papers. It won't be long before everything he ever feared will come true. My special pet resting beneath the sea will be ready soon. All my little cocoons will also hatch shortly. My greatest creation will be the very undoing of everything he has worked for. It would be a shame, though, if he wasn't ready to live in a world of nightmares. I'll make his body a living reflection of the horrors I've unleashed. The world will be so far removed from the stability he craves, it will be complete chaos, and that chaos will destroy his body. Unlimited transformations. Carla Radames thinks she can attack China and unleash chaos upon the world, but Derek Simmons had a plan for stopping her, and she is gravely injured. If I'm going to die, then I'll make sure the world he loves dies with me. With her last ounce of energy, she injects herself with an extremely potent strain of the C-virus. It's the same strain one of her subordinates injected into Derek. In her infected state, she merges her body with that of an aircraft carrier, transforming herself into something decidedly not human, surprisingly. She can create human-sized doppelgangers of herself, Carla Spores. These avatars of Carla's insanity still resemble Ada Wong, proving that Derek's experiment damaged her psyche more than even she had realised. Now we just wanted a nude, cummy Ada Wong. Complete mutations. After a human is injected with the C-virus and turns into a Juavo, the virus will continue to mutate the host until its entire body is covered by a tough cocoon-like structure. Inside this chrysalid, the virus will dissolve the host body's composition and reform it, thus giving birth to a completely different creature from the Juavo. These creatures are referred to as complete mutations. Derek C. Simmons sought to harness this mutation process when he tried to recreate Ada Wong, but ended with a number of failed mutations instead. Lepetitsa and Nesdo are two such examples of those failures. Derek preserved the female aspect, but little else. Derek's researchers soon learned that by mixing the C-virus with the DNA of living specimens, they could create complete mutations that preserved the strong features of reptilian and mammalian species. Being able to determine the final outcome for the complete mutation was a key component of creating reliable bioorganic weapons. This research was instrumental in stabilizing the C-virus and creating something that would birth multiple bioweapons. Enhanced C-virus. The enhanced C-virus was created by strengthening the C-virus with Jake Muller's blood. This enhanced virus was engineered by Carla Radames by taking the elements of Jake's blood that were resistant to viral infection and using them to re-engineer the C-virus into a more potent virus. When a host is infected by the normal C-virus, the host will eventually become encased in a cocoon before emerging as a new creature. With the enhanced version, not only does it strengthen the host, but it removes the need for a chrysalis stage. The host can continue to mutate indefinitely into new forms without compromising its cellular integrity. The enhanced C-virus is incredibly difficult to manufacture, and only Carla has the know-how to do it successfully. As such, only a limited amount of enhanced C-virus is known to exist. Assumedly, the one she shot herself up with, and the one she shot Simmons up with, because I can't think of any other. The end of Derek Simmons. When Derek C. Simmons was betrayed by Ada Wong following the Raccoon City incident, it was the first time he had ever felt emotional stress. He felt that if he could not have the real Ada Wong serving him faithfully, then he would create one to do so. He decided to use the C-virus, a virus with unlimited potential to change the human body, on its creator, Carla Radames, in order to recreate his beloved Ada. No one knows how many lives Derek sacrificed in order to realize that goal. When he succeeded with Carla, he was overcome with joy, but Carla had not completely lost herself in the process, and she hated Derek for what he did to her. Eventually, she would see to it that he was injected with a potent strain of the C-virus, one that would cause his body to mutate painfully into hideous creatures without end. In the end, he was killed by Ada Wong. Carla's revenge. Carla Radames was reborn as Ada Wong because of the experiment Derek Simmons forced her into and the subsequent training she received. Yeah, it's as dirty and gross as it sounds. She received following her transformation. Unknown to Derek, Carla retained some remnants of herself in the deepest recesses of her psyche, and this part of her was determined to undo everything Derek had done. Carla secretly founded the Neo Umbrella organization so she could perfect the C-virus, something that would be instrumental in her plans to destabilize the planet, an idea that was anathema to Derek. Excuse me. Her plan was to launch missiles loaded with the gas that would turn people into zombies and unleash the ultimate BOW on the unsuspecting world, Chaos. Her plan to wreak havoc in China would have gone off without any problems, but for one incomprehensible act, she contacted the real Ada Wong and involved her in the situation. Whether she did this in some vain attempt to destroy the original Ada and leave only herself, or to have Ada save her, no one can say. I don't think you know, and you wrote the game. Let's have a looky-loo at the figures. This is Ada, I think. Yeah, Ada Wong.
Sorry, boys. No time. My dance card's already full.
And Carla.
Can you feel it spreading through your body yet?
Leon, by the looks of it. Looks like Helena and Deborah.
No! No, Deborah! No!
Looks like Hunnigan.
Roger that. I'll map out the safest access route.
I want to see what's on her laptop. Files on Derek Simmons. Okay. Looks like mutated peers.
Captain!
Why did you get a lightning gun arm? So bizarre. Just zombies. Bunch of, sorry, not China. Indiscriminate, totally not China zombies. Zombie dog by the looks of it. Poor puppy. Looks like Ada riding that panda thing.
I'm just here to find out what you're up to.
No, it's Ada in a diving suit. I thought it was the panda thing. And last one appears to be Carla. Yeah, Carla the cum monster. Problem is I couldn't really hear any of your voice lines when we were fighting you because of the whole everything going on thing. An end boss so good they used it again in the next game. Anyway, that's all the figures, that's all the files, and we'll put some stuff at the end of this very long video. But thank you for joining me for Resident Evil 6.
Look out for its gas!
Did it save him?
Megan, everyone's gone.
It's gonna be okay. We've still got each other.
Oh yeah, because she freaked out because she died. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for that.
I guess there are worse things than chasing a dog through a cemetery.
Yeah, it could be chasing us.
That was not an action shot. Oh, it was. Okay. That's the stunt, man. That's that done. Yeah. Only took 3 minutes.
Good job.
Yes, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, come to this one. If it goes to that one, I'm boned.
You'll be killed!
You know what they say about desperate times? Watch and learn!
Here we go. I only got one hand.
You're going down!
Come on, let's go. Our orders are to avoid contact with anyone.
Does he know that West
Thank you for watching.
I don't think so. Why?
No reason. Maybe I just rubbed him the wrong way.